guys, Flavien Vidal with a Magazaki motor. Today we're in for something a little bit different. As you can see, Suzuki Cappuccino, Honda Beat and the infamous Az-1 that everybody wants. We're gonna see how someone who's slightly taller than usual, like I am, I'm 1.88 m and about 90 kg, which is too much if I'm honest. So that's about like 6'1.5" and yeah, close to 200 pounds, which is way too much. And we're gonna see how people my size actually fit in those cars. So it all started a couple months ago, like maybe 4 months ago, online, like most things, and someone asked about how someone who would be 6'2" would fit in the car. So I told him that, well, you know, unless you have like a really abnormally big torso, abnormally tall torso, or really abnormally long legs, if you're like pretty well proportioned, you should fit pretty well in any of those cars. Well, maybe not the Az-1, we will see that later, but you should fit all right in a Cappuccino mostly, and in a Honda Beat. And well, this guy literally called me a straight, like, that I was lying and doing everything that could to make us say. I will read you like an extract of what I had to deal with. Okay, usually I am nice in this, but no, you do not have room for fucking 6'4" people, 6'4" person to fit in this car. Not even with a racing seat bolted to the floor. I talked over this exact topic with a friend who went and sat in this to get an idea of how much room there is, and YouTube video of real people clearly show how tight it is. Selling JDM cars is cool. Trying to sell size 8 shoes to someone who is size 12 is not cool. Delete your bullshit comment and I will follow suit. He went on to tell me like, yeah, I'm selling cars to people who cannot sit in them, who cannot fly to have to fly to Japan, because those cars are totally non-existing in any Cars and Coffee in North America for anyone to test. And that they had to fly to Japan to test them, and that I would basically scam people into, well, buying this car even though they could not fit. Clearly, nobody who's 6'2" can fit, right? Well, let's find out. Alright guys, so first we're gonna start with the Suzuki Cappuccino. So that's a 1993, March 1993 car. Stock seat, as you're gonna be able to see in the extra footage that I'm gonna do in a bit. I haven't filmed it yet. So what to say about the car? Usually it's the one that I prefer because it's the fastest of the three. It's also the second most comfortable. So how do I fit? So as you can see, once I'm in there, so the seat of course is pulled fully backward. Quite a lot of leg room. I mean, I have no problem. Like, my feet are behind the pedals right now. That's how I'm resting if I'm on the pedals. So you see it's like fairly close. I have maybe like this much room before I hit the dash. So it's not exactly super comfortable. There's not a lot of space, but I've done like really long road trips in this car, not in this one, but in similar Cappuccinos, and it's really not bad. So the headroom is also pretty good. Like, if you're like looking up, now I'm touching, now I touch, so I have about maybe 1.5 inches to 2 inches of headspace. If I were to wear a helmet, I would need to get one first. Maybe I'll try to do that later. The helmet would probably touch the roof, but really that's pretty much as bad as it can be with a stock seat. I mean, it's really not bad. The main problem you're gonna have is if you're a little bit too wide or a little bit too fat. Basically your shoulder, my shoulder right now, is like resting all the time against the door. I have no space whatsoever. It's like a bucket seat but with the door. So the right side, I have no room to spare for my shoulder. I cannot open my arm or anything. So like usually fatter and bigger people end up like with like driving like this, you know, because it's just like not if you're too wide, too fat, it's not gonna be doable. It's not really comfortable. But yeah, other than that, the car is like I mean, for someone 6'1", 6'1" to 6'2", it's really not bad at all. Unless you have like a really big torso or like super long legs, you should be fitting pretty well. So, well, on to the next car. And let's get out. So as you can see, it's not super easy either, but it's still not bad. All right, now Honda Beat. So now let's go with the Honda Beat. This one happens to be the absolute most comfortable and the car with the most space for really tall people. So like I like to often point out to a friend of mine, he's like 6'4" to 6'5", and he owns one. So he owns one, which is, so the seat is not all the way back because I have not driven it. I'm not the last one to have driven it. But yeah, so how to fit in a Honda Beat. This one, full disclosure, the steering looks a little bit maybe smaller than the stock one. I'm not sure, it's not the stock steering, so full disclosure on that. But how to fit in the Honda Beat. There you go. And you have like really lots of room. Headroom is really fine too. There's like, yeah, it's by far the most comfortable car that there is. You can still even like pull a little bit backward, a little bit more. As you can see, I have like lots of, I mean, it's heel and toes, whatever I want to do. Lots and lots of room. Still, you're still gonna be fairly close to your passenger or fairly close to the door. Let me open the window. If I close the door, I have a little bit more room here than with the Cappuccino, but I have nothing to rest my shoulder on the door. The door is extremely thin, so yeah, they really tried to make as much room as possible into this car. But it's by far the most comfortable car. There's not much to say about it. I mean, you can see like Jeremy Clarkson did a video back with old Top Gear, so in 1993, 1994, I'm not sure when he did that video, but quite a long time ago. And you can see that he fits really well, and he's like 2 meters, so that's like, yeah, 6'5", maybe 6'5". 6'6" maybe. He's really tall. So his headroom, he had some problem with the headroom. You could see the top was down, but yeah, you really have to be very tall not to fit in that car. Yeah, there's not much to say about it really. It's, if you're really super tall, that's definitely the one you want to get. It's still really low, but that's gonna be clearly tall. Up. All right, now the one that people usually wonder the most, the Az-1, and that's another story. And finally, we're with the Az-1. So the Az-1, it's the one that everybody wants. The cool gull windows, and of course the cool gull windows. You know, that's the one car that everybody wants. It's the car that I like the least. If I'm honest, I don't like the driving dynamics of the car, but that's another story. I'm sure you can look at. I've done like a couple of videos on Az-1, and you can see like my pet peeve with this car. But how to fit in the car? So first and foremost, that's the tightest of them all. By tight, I mean really tight. If you're 6'1", it's really difficult to fit in. So first, the way you do it, don't try to like. Usually, like if you're used to Corvette or something, you're just gonna slide in and try to get the leg first. That does not work with this car. You have to. So the doors are fairly high. So the thing you do is like, first you step in with one foot, then rest again like that. So basically standing up inside the car, one leg in on the left of the steering. Then you just slide in and you're pretty much set. still it's very cramped. The one thing that I don't like, you see, like right now, so my pedals, my feet are on the pedal, the steering is slightly smaller than stock steering is really big, feels like kind of like truck size steering, and even then, like, I have hard time to, like, you see, I'm clutched out right now, clutched in, and even clutched in, my hand has really hard time passing, like, between the steering and my thigh. So yeah, overall it's a really tight fit if you have longer legs. The headroom is not bad. It could be worse, really. Like maybe similar to the Cappuccino. Like the whole car feels in general just a lot more cramped. And you have to keep in mind that this car actually has had so the bottom foam is still here. The rear foam of the seat has been removed. So it's more spacious than stock because the steering wheel is smaller and the foam has been removed. That's a lot of stuff that were removed, and I'm still really cramped in there. If I just want to heel and toes and everything, also the steering pedals are like slightly tilted to the left, which really does not help with the whole configuration and the way you want to drive when, if you have anything like coming up on the road, if you have to counter steer, if you have any a quick reaction to do, the car is already extremely prone to oversteer. If you cannot actually fully counter steer as much as needed, and when you close the door, it's same, you feel kind of weirdly, this is the car with the most room for my shoulders. Right now there's some sort of, I'm going to show you there. Right now there is this thing here, which is basically it's a shade. My hair slightly touches the shade when it's on. When the shade is not on, I have quite about as much room, I would say, as in the Cappuccino. So I have maybe an inch and a half to 2 inches of headroom. That's fine. The main problem with this car really it's just the leg room. There's no leg room, and I have no idea how they could screw it up, because they're supposed to have space up front, they're supposed to have leg room. There's no engine in the front, so there's no excuse for not having space for the legs. The engine is in the back, it should have been fine, but no, it's not. So this one, if you're 6'1", I would say 6 feet is really as tall as you want to be for an Az-1. If you have long legs and you're 6 feet, it might be also too tight. That's how cramped it is. So to get out of the car, be careful with the thing here, so you can also hit your head here. I did hit my head many times, and of course the door, which is up there, but same way to get out, up, and it doesn't look usually people coming out, they just crawl out of it, because they're try to fit their leg under the steering, the left leg under the steering. You don't do that. You can just once you understand how to get in and out, it's really not bad, even though you're tall. If you try to get out now you look, and it's gone. Now you look a bit more like an idiot. Yeah, so up to you what you want to do, depending on how tall you are. If you want an Az-1, if you're a little bit too tall, you might not enjoy the car at all. It's kind of a deal breaker for many people. Alright, well, I hope the video was useful to you guys. If you have any question, as usual, leave it in the comment below, or just email me. You can find the email address on Amagazeki Motors website. And well, till next time, bye bye!